Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of This Is Me Trying with Emily Weaver. I'm your host, Emily, and I am so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining me for this week. We have a lot to dive in this week, and I am just so excited to talk about this topic. We're going to be talking about the January blues and how we're going to tackle them this year. Now, I do understand that when you're listening to this podcast episode, it actually will already be February, and I apologize for that. But I still think the title is catchy, and so we're going to keep it. But first we're going to do updates, then we're going to get into the topic. You know how it works. So, updates since the last time we talked. I did finish reading Yours Truly, and it was amazing, and I did give it 5 stars. I know we talked about this last week. I was reading it. I was loving it. It was amazing. I would recommend you read it so much. It literally was just like the perfect amount of like amazing romance, but also like just enough of the conflict that you're like, okay, like this book has substance, but like not enough the conflict where you're like, oh, are they ever gonna get together? Like, you know, like most of it's just like a chill vibe, but it's literally such a good book, and I would recommend it to everyone. Like, they basically like, they're writing letters back and forth, there's some fake dating, there's some like, do I actually like them? Do I not like them? Do they like me? It's fantastic, and I actually found out that it's like a part of, it's not a series, like they're all standalone books, but basically the author wrote them in a way that like there are some intermingling characters that pop up between the different books, and you have to like watch for it. And so I really, really want to read. Apparently this is actually like the second book of this kind of like trilogy of standalones, and apparently the I think the third book in the trilogy comes out in the spring. But apparently there's one more book before this that I didn't read. So I'm excited to read that one. And then she has a whole bunch of other books. And so this is Abby Jimenez, and I'm really, really excited to read the rest of her books because it just feels like a secret gem. I feel like I was not at all prepared to... I was prepared to love this book, but I wasn't necessarily prepared to be like, oh my god, I have to buy all of her books. And like, I'm an Emily Henry stan, and I feel like the hype that people give Emily Henry, they should also give to Abby Jimenez 100%. So that's my position on that. Also, Lexi has said that she wants to be on the podcast. So I'm giving her a shout out. And Lexi Burns and I are going to talk about books on the podcast one day when she's not in New Zealand. And it's going to be great. We're going to do a whole dedicated episode where we just talk about books that we're loving, books that we're hating, and everything you need to know about books. It's going to be great. Stay tuned for that. It's probably going to come in the spring. Unless I can figure out a way to do video podcasting back and forth. But yeah, if you want to be on the podcast, slide into my DMs. I would love to talk to you and see if we can make something happen. If you can slide into my DMs on thisismetrying_pod on Instagram, I would love to hear from you. If you have cool things that you're trying and you want me to know about them and you want everyone to know about them, let me know, because I want to know. I don't think this is a solo pod forever. I really, really do want to have guests on this podcast. I really want to talk to my friends about what they're doing and what they're experiencing. And if you want to be on the pod, slide into my DMs. I want to hear you. Then, to follow up on last week, I was saying I was going to Target, and I did go to Target last weekend. Dan and I went across the border, and we went to Target and Trader Joe's and Barnes & Noble and Ulta, and it was awesome. It was so much fun. And I really honestly didn't know how close the border was. I feel like that's stupid, but from growing up in a small town, it was not close to the border. But we went from Burlington, and the drive from Burlington, it's 45 minutes to the border. Like, I was not expecting that at all. And then it was like 15 minutes past the border to the Target. And I was like, what? Insane. And there wasn't a lineup at the border at all both ways. And that was a win. I got an awesome haul. It was great. And then another update is that the sun came out today. And it was great. So I guess that's kind of, how to fight the January blues is for the sun to come out. But that would be a really short podcast if I decided that was all I was going to talk about today. But the sun did come out today, and it did make me incredibly happy. So that's another thing that we can be thankful for. And then my last update I have for you today is that I opened up my first home savings account today. Yay! As you know, I've been on my financial guru journey, and it's been going well so far. And today I opened up a first home savings account. If you don't know, now you know. A first home savings account, or an FHSA, is a brand new savings account type for Canadians. And through that account, you can save up to $40,000 in the account. And it is basically like a TFSA or an RRSP, except it can only go towards home purchasing, and you have 15 years to save up that money. But the really cool thing is you can invest the money through the account, and it's a really great way to gain interest on the money that you have. It's a really, really great way to invest your money in stocks and just kind of build your wealth through this account. So anyway, I'm really excited about it. And so I thought that was interesting knowledge that I could share with you, because it's a brand new account that just started like last year, I think. And so it's, something that not a lot of people may know about because it's not as popular yet. And so if you're looking to buy a house in the next 15 years or a condo, right now is a really good time to set up one of those accounts and to get investing. Yay! Coming up in the very near future, Dan and I are actually going to Montreal next week, which is really exciting. It's kind of our first big trip that we're going on together, which is exciting. We're going for 4 days to Montreal, and I'm just so excited. We're just gonna walk around the entire city. We're gonna go and get tattoos. We're gonna go out for fancy dinners. We're gonna do lots of thrifting and shopping. We're just gonna have a really fun time. And I think it'll just be really nice to have a cute little vacation. And we're going over Valentine's Day, which is super fun. And I think it'll just be really cute for the two of us. So Montreal recap coming. Hopefully Dan can be on the pod for a little tiny bit for a Montreal recap, and we can build it into one of the episodes coming up. So hoping for that. And now we're going to get into this week's topic. We're talking about fighting the January blues. And I'm going to preface this with, to my friends that are off in beautiful fucking places right now, do not come into my DMs again this time and tell me that actually it's gorgeous out. I know that. I literally know that. And I know that this episode is not for you, because you have solved the January blues in just not being in Southern Ontario in January. Done. But next week's episode on the Sunday Scaries may be for you. So stay tuned. But for my religious listeners, thank you so much for being here, even if January is not sucking for you. Thank you, and we can all just be in this state together. So, January, in my opinion, is one of my least favorite months. Even though it's my birthday month, it still sucks. My birthday's in the middle of the month. I love it. It's great. We've talked about it for 3 weeks straight, so I know you're bored of it. But it's great, except for the fact that January sucks as a month. November is a close second for sucking. I don't know if November or January are tied, in my opinion. I can't really figure it out. But they both suck because they're both gray and they're both ugly and not much is happening. So I think a lot of the reason why we have these January blues is because there's such a buildup from November onwards towards Christmas, and there's all these activities. Everyone's happy. There's all the holly jolly cheer. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, there's beautiful lights out. There's lots of family gatherings. People are generally happy. And even if it's not really your vibe, like there's a general feeling of like wanting to be with others and like hanging out and doing fun things. There's lots of plans, there's lots of really good food. And then we get to January and there's nothing. Like, there's literally nothing that happens in January. Like, the next thing that happens after New Year's is like Valentine's Day. And that's like in the middle of February. So it's like you have probably 6 weeks of nothing. And it's just like, you're like left high and dry. Like, you're like, what am I supposed to be doing? I just feel like shit. I'm not doing anything. I'm not seeing anyone. Like, what is the purpose? And I'm not going to say I have any of this figured out. This is just kind of my thoughts around it on how I want to help you have a not so sucky winter so that you don't hate it as much. Because let's be honest, winter like sucks and most people don't like it. And I like winter until January, and then that's where I draw the line. And then I want it to be May and gorgeous and cute and sunny, and I want to wear a little midi dress and I want to look cute, and instead I just keep wearing my puffer coat every single day. And so it's like I kind of have a bit of like a 4-step plan on how we can move forward and start to fight those January blues, fight those winter blues, and get us to a little bit of a better place and a better mindset of thinking about winter and not wanting to just crawl up under the covers and die every single day. That's an exaggeration. Don't do that. But step 1 is lean in. And what we're going to do when we lean in is we're actually going to embrace the vibes. There's no use fighting against this feeling of like hatred towards winter or like this feeling of just a general blah if we're not going to lean in. Like, we need to lean way into the blah in order to feel better. You know, like you can't just be fighting against yourself every single day of being like, I don't feel productive. I don't feel like anything matters anymore. I don't want to be here doing this thing. Like, I want to be off in some beautiful tropical vacation. And like, yeah, let's do a little bit more planning next time and plan the tropical vacation. But while we're here in the winter, let's embrace the vibes. Let's get cozy. Let's have rot days. Let's light the candles, like you have to embrace the coziness and the vibes. We do this all of November and December as we get ready for Christmas and all of our holidays, but we forget to do that for the rest of winter. Then we're just fighting it for the rest of winter. Instead, what if we captured more of that and we just kept feeling the vibes, So what I want you to do is I want you to get your coziest blanket. I want you to turn on the fireplace channel. And I want you to light a cute little candle. And I want you to just embrace the vibes. Pretend it's a blistery night outside and it's snowing and it's cold out there, but you're warm and happy inside because you're all cozy and you have leaned into the vibes, like we have to start embracing those vibes in order to start actually feeling the vibes, Some other suggestions are to play some board games, maybe have a little board game party. That's pretty cute. Have a little sleepover, get your girlies together, have a little sleepover. Those are great ways to lean in to winter. My step 2 is kind of some hard truth, and it's to get out of the motherfucking house. We're going to say that again. We're going to get out of the motherfucking house, okay? We are going to get ourselves out of the house. So step 1, we're being nice to ourselves. Step 2, we're giving ourselves the hard truth. And step 2 is that we actually need to make plans in order to actually enjoy January and February. Some of those plans can literally be going to a coffee shop and just hanging out there, going and grabbing a coffee, sitting down there. Maybe you're doing a little bit of work. Maybe you're reading your cute little book. Maybe you're there with a friend. Just even going to a coffee shop is better than sitting in your house. And for me, my apartment looks out through every single window towards a brick wall. And I know a lot of you probably live in places like that too. So like if it's sunny out, I don't even know. Like sometimes you just need to actually remove yourself from the house in order to actually feel okay in a day. Some other things that you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your friend's house. You know, be like, hey, I really wanna hang out, feel like I need to get out of the house, can I come over? If you're close enough friends, they're probably gonna say yes, unless they're super busy. You know, you have to actually make plans in order to actually like winter, you know? So I also want you to see what's happening in your city, and I want you to go to it. So I want you to check Eventbrite, and I want you to look up your interest in Eventbrite, whatever it is. And then I want you to see all of the events that are happening that you are guaranteed to like because you like that interest. For example, I Google Taylor Swift frequently on Eventbrite because I want to know what the girlies are doing. I want to know what dance parties are happening. I want to know what crafting nights are happening. I want to know what the events are that I'm going to want to go to. So you're going to search up your interest group and you're going to actually make plans to actually go. And the best plans are if you can invite a friend to come too, because, you know, plans are always better when there's more than one of you. And then in terms of plans, I want you to make at least one plan per week. At least. That can be any sort of plan, but maybe it's going out with a friend and you're going to go read your books in a little cafe. Or maybe it's that you and your friend are going to get together and you're going to go and do a cute little winter sport together. I don't care what it is, but you're going to go and do one plan per week. Because we go through so much of the year having frequent plans. It's the winter where we're all hibernating and no one wants to do anything, that we actually need to really force the making plans in order to find some sort of happiness in the winter. Step 3 is that we're going to find at least one thing about winter that brings you joy. And this can be a hard one because there can be literally nothing that you like about winter, and I also understand that. But I think there are a lot of things that could be winter-ish that we like that brings us joy. We live in an ever-changing climate in Canada, and winter is here for at least 4 months of the year, every single year. So you have to find at least one thing that brings you joy in order to survive the winter. In order to fight the January blues, you have to find at least one thing. That can be so many different things, but for example, pick a thing you can't do any other time of the year. Like maybe it's skating in a park. Maybe it's seeing the snow glisten on like a really cold day when it's sunny out. Maybe it's like that breath of fresh air you get when you walk outside and it's really, really cold out. Maybe it's getting a cute pair of hat and mittens every year because they make you feel all cozy and warm. Maybe it's like the first day that you get to wear a cute little scarf. Like, I don't know what your joy thing is, but maybe it's a cute little cup of hot cocoa. Like, most people aren't drinking hot cocoa in the summer. You know, maybe you're drinking a little hot cocoa, you got some cute little marshmallows on it. Like, that can be your joy thing. And then I want you, like step 1, to lean into that joy. I want you to capture whatever that thing is that you really like, and then do that a lot more in the winter, you know? And I'm not endorsing you buy 18 pairs of hats and mittens, but if that's the only thing that's going to get you through the winter, I'm literally not judging you. Step 4 is to take care of your health. And I mean that both mental and physical. I think this is the number one thing that actually will get you through the winter. We're going to take our vitamins. And this is a daily thing, and you got to get on it, because vitamin D, I swear to God, changed my life last year, and I have been taking vitamin D all last winter and then basically from October onwards. And I really feel like it makes a difference. And obviously talk to your doctor, consult them. I'm not a health podcast, obviously, but I do think it's common sense to take your vitamin D. But I really didn't know how much it would help until I actually started taking it. I also take a women's multivitamin. I feel like that helps too. It's just like a good thing to get when you're not getting any sunlight is to get vitamin D through a vitamin, you know? Number 2 is we're going to make sure we're actually taking our mental health days. If you genuinely feel like you need a mental health day, take it. If you are privileged enough to get sick days, you can take a mental health day as a sick day. You can just say you're sick. You don't have to tell them what's going on. Like, you can just take it as a sick day. It is a sick day. If you're feeling awful and your mental health is just not at its peak form because everything is screaming at you to have a bad mental health day, then make sure you're taking those days. And if you don't get sick days, try to make sure that your days off are recharging you so that you feel like you're okay to get through the week. Next, we are going to exercise when we can. And I know it's cold out. A lot of people's favorite forms of exercise don't happen during the winter, but exercise is an awesome way to stay really mentally healthy and also to stay physically healthy too. And so I feel like it's a great way to also find forms of exercise that you really like in the winter that can help you enjoy the winter too. So some people really love winter sports. That's a great way to get your exercise in. People love skating, people love skiing, people love tubing. Those kinds of things are awesome activities to do in the winter because they just rely on the winter to do them. But if that's not your vibe and you don't want to be cold, I would highly recommend doing like hot yoga or doing a spin class because those things are really warm and they're like super fun to do. And so you can just embrace being warm instead and go do a fun little exercise class to boost your mental health and to boost your physical health. We love that. And if a class or an activity is not your vibe, really, I just recommend you go on a daily walk. Like, get your hot girl walk in, get your silly little mental health walk in. It just really is going to make you feel better, even if you hate it. You know, like, I'm sorry. It's the truth. Every single time I go on a little mental health walk, I feel better. I don't feel 100% better, but I definitely feel a little bit better. So, I'm going to challenge you to do your little exercise when you can. I also want you to stay connected to the people who lift you out of your funk because those people are going to be incredibly important during the winter. Again, these are the people that either you're going out with, but it might be the person that you want to go on a little phone call with and you want to just chat out how you're feeling. And you know what? A lot of us are feeling exactly the same way. And so I think it's totally okay to talk with your friends, to talk with your family about how you're feeling, about the winter blues, because let's face it, we're all feeling this and they're probably feeling it too. And you're probably going to feel a little bit better knowing that you've talked about how you're feeling rather than just continuing to feel really shitty for the whole winter. And my last suggestion is just to make sure that you're putting at least some healthy food in your body every once in a while. You know, it's a great time to eat some oranges. It's a great time to get your fruits and veggies in because your mind and body are 100% connected. And the better that you're eating, you know, you're gonna feel better. And ultimately, I really think you gotta figure it out for yourself. You have to figure out what your balances are. There's so many things that are vying for our attention at so many different points. And it's always a balancing scale, you know? Like, there are some weeks where you're going to be so overwhelmed and so busy that you won't have time to make proper meals for yourself. You won't have time to probably take care of all the things you want to take care of in a week. But these are really good kind of baselines of ways that we can feel better, ways that we can take care of our mental health more, and ways that we can be physically more healthy so that we all over kind of have a really good baseline for where we can start when these months are so cold, when these months are really taking us down. And so to end this segment, I've come up with a cute little activity list of things that I think are really fun things to do in the winter that I think will help you beat the January blues. We've talked about some winter sports, but I think watching sports in general can also be super fun in the winter. I know that every single person, because of Taylor and Travis, are now watching football. That's a great thing to do in the winter. There's a lot of entertainment there. Also, there are lots of sports going on. The Professional Women's Hockey League started recently. You can go and watch that. That's super fun. Basketball's on. There's lots of sports going on in the winter. And like the Super Bowl, I think, is next weekend. So there's also like fun gatherings you can have around sports. I'm not the biggest sports person, but I like a little themed event. And I think this is a great thing to do in the winter. Number 2 is to go out to the markets. There are so many cute little markets happening in the winter because so many other people also want to get out of the house and do another cute activity. There aren't as many like farmers markets in the winter, but there are a lot of craft markets, and those are super fun. There's so many cute little small businesses doing cute little fun things. Like there's lots of jewelry makers. I've seen lots of people doing stationery stuff. This weekend, I'm going to a book market, which I think will be really cute. It's a whole bunch of like different stationery vendors and small bookstore owners, and I think it'll just be a really fun way to spend a weekend. And I know, at least in Toronto, there's markets happening all of the time, but I know even in the small town I grew up in, like there's markets that are happening, you know, kind of on a monthly basis. So I think it's a fun thing to keep on your radar, especially if you're like already on Eventbrite or already on Facebook looking for different events to go to. I think markets are a great fun thing to do. Next thing is cozy hobbies, and we talk about it all the time, but this is for my girls who love knitting, who love crochet, who love board games and crafts and video games. I've recently got into Animal Crossing. Dan got it for me as an anniversary gift in the fall, and I have just been in love with it. And then in the last week or so, I've gotten kind of past a roadblock I was having with the game, and it's just been so much fun. Like, it's just such a fun way to relax and hang out and like do a whole bunch of cute little mindless tasks. It's just like a fun way to spend a couple of hours. And crafts are always fun. Again, we've talked about craft nights before, but just kind of finding ways to incorporate your hobbies into everyday life will already make your day feel a little bit better, even if the weather's not great outside. Another one is book clubs, reading, super fun. You can get together a couple of your friends and read the same book, or you can join a book group that's going on, and then you just get to talk about your favorite books, and that sounds awesome to me. The next thing I have on my list is kind of a two-parter in that winter is the perfect time to learn how to cook. You have so much time on your hands if you're not doing anything else, and it's just a great time to learn how to make a whole bunch of yummy food, and it's also a great time to learn how to bake. I love baking, and it's a great time to make some muffins, to make some cinnamon rolls, just make something yummy, and you can like literally spend a whole day baking, you know, like take yourself out to the grocery store in the morning and like go with the sole purpose of just getting all of your little goodies so you could do your baking, and then you come home and then you bake, and then you just get to chill out and have a great time. I think that sounds like a perfect way to spend a Saturday. The next thing on my list, you have to be very intentional about, and that is becoming an expert on the everything shower or the bubble bath. Some of my girls are bubble bath girls, and some of my girls are everything shower girls. And what I mean by this is that you have to become an expert at cultivating a vibe for yourself. And this can look like getting your cute little Lush bath bombs and getting your shower gels and getting all of this stuff together to make a cute little bath mocktail. We love it. Or the Everything Shower Girls, we love a little exfoliant. We love a little face mask in the shower. We love a little hair mask, shaving creams, all of it. We love it. And these are not baths and showers to get the shower done. These are to spend the most amount of time possible in the shower or the bath relaxing. But getting, cultivating the vibe for yourself of just like self-care heaven. And I think the winter is the perfect time to become an expert at this. And the last thing I have on my list is to become a candle hoarder. Because why not? You want your house to smell good. I want your house to smell good. It's not a shame to buy another candle. And I just want to give you permission to do that to live your life. Because once the summer comes, you're probably not burning candles. And the winter is just the perfect time to do that. I want to leave you with some friendly reminders that will help you get through the next month. 1, Valentine's Day is coming up. It's cute. Lean into it. I don't want to hear any of you say you don't like Valentine's Day because grow up, you're an adult. You're allowed to like Valentine's Day. It's not cringy. It's just fun. Even if you don't have a partner, buy your friend a flower. Send your friend cookies. It's great. It's fun. It's just cute. It's pink. It's girly. It's frilly. We love it. We love the vibes. So get your Valentine's plans or your Galentine's plans or whatever you're going to do set. That's 1. The next thing is that the sun now sets after 5:15. And we're almost at 5:30 actually. And so just know that at least over here, it's past 5:15 and the sun is just going down. And you just have to remember that we have now made it through the darkest days of the year. And it's only going to get lighter after this. It's only going to get better. And we're moving towards spring. The groundhogs are probably going to tell us that we've got 18 more weeks of winter. But it's not true. And spring is on the way. And especially with global warming the way it is, it probably won't be that cold for that long. So I just want you to remember and put it into perspective that you've already got through the darkest days of the year. You've made it through November and December and January, and you're on the way towards spring. And I think that's something to celebrate because I think it takes really a lot of mental capacity to get through those months, and I just want to congratulate you on doing that. And the final thing I'm going to leave you with today is that it is never too early to buy a bright colored shirt or a cute little skirt and manifest spring. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave that with you today. And with that, I want to thank you for tuning into This Is Me Trying this week. I'm your host, Emily Weaver, and I'm so happy that you're here with me this week. Thank you so much for giving me 30 to 45 minutes of your time every week. This has been super fun. I hope I have left you with a little bit of encouragement for January and February, and I hope you can bring this with you as you move towards the spring. It's a really crazy time of year, and I just want you to take care of yourself, take care of your friends, and we really are going to get through it together. So thank you for listening this week. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.